Has 7 straight steals against the Mets. And the interesting part about this, Ralph, the Reds as a team have stolen 7 straight bases against Jesse Orozco.
So it's Eric Davis, the runner, and Eddie Milner, the batter. Milner batting for the first time. Milner with a batting average of .229 for the year, 7 home runs, 23 RBI.
I would think Milner will give him a chance to steal. We'll see if Carter's going to pitch out.
And the first pitch for ball 1. Milner batting for the first time. 1 man out, bottom half of the 10th inning, number 3-3 ball game. Davis, a good-sized lead, and he draws a throw.
He's had his hands on his knees twice. That is the unusual thing about Cal Daniels that he does. Usually you should have the hands dangling in front of you and not on your knees like that.
He's running, and the pitch is thrown down to second base high by Carter, and Davis with a stolen base and the winning run at second.
We brought this up there with the hands on the net. He didn't even have a good jump. You saw the lean back to first base. But as we've said, Eric, now look, there's a lean back to first base, hands on the leg. He just outruns the ball. Carter didn't have a good grip on the ball, and he just outruns it. You know, Davis, we were talking about this at Shea, Ralph. He's one of the few base runners that doesn't get a good jump, but he accelerates on the back end into the bag.
Boy, he gets flying.
Man, he almost uproots that second base bag when he slides in there.
His 46th stolen base, and now the Mets have the option of walking Eddie Milner. 2 ball, no strike count. First base is open.
Lefty against lefty, though. I'd pitch to him all the way. Try to get him out.
Rowden, the on-deck batter, a right-hand batter. And then it's Tony Perez. So it's 2-0. And the Mets will pitch to the left-hand batter. Fastball, a strike call. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Tell you another reason to go after Milner is with the right-hander up there, a catcher doesn't have that clear throw, or with the right-hander up there, catcher doesn't have the clear throw to third base. Eric Davis has stolen third base 9 times this year.
9 times, so you got to watch him. Johnson trying to hold him close. Orozco checks him, and the pitch back to curveball. And it's 2-2.
Oh, what a big pitch that was. A 2-1 curveball freezes Milner. Well, that can lock you right there.
He was locked. So now the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the runner going. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw to third base is not in time as Davis steals third, and Knight in a fight with Davis. Knight hits him with a right cross, and here they come. Both benches ebbing as we see fights breaking out around. Knight got in a right cross on Davis, and it is a battle out on the field at third.
That is Davis in the left of your screen, held by Doug Harvey. And Kevin Mitchell, and I'll tell you, he can go. Now Helms, oh boy.
Sasky's in there punching on Mitchell. And we got 2 groups trying to break up 2 fights.
That's right. Now I'll tell you, Kevin Mitchell now, who is at Bruce Kim, a coach, it looks like. There's Joe Price, who is on the disabled list. John Denny, formerly with the Cardinals. He and Carter have had words before. There's Joe Price, who's on the disabled list. And the caps and gloves are strewn all over the infield.
Looks like a hockey match.
I'll tell you, baseball has got to do something to not allow both benches to empty. In my opinion, there's Tom Browning.
He was on the bottom of that one.
He's tough as a fast food steak. The starting pitcher tomorrow night. You hate to see guys like that's where guys get hurt. And in my opinion, the two combatants should go out at each other just like hockey. Ralph, you mentioned hockey. Anybody else in the fight, automatic ejection and a suspension. That'll stop the piling on. That's where guys get hurt. And Mitchell looks a little groggy.
And Knight still being held by Ted Power, a relief pitcher. Davy Johnson trying to push him away.
Ray Knight, a former Gold Glove boxer. Kevin Mitchell is stumbling around. He looks very, very groggy. Part of that you get so excited.
They're still out there.
They sure are.
There's Dave Parker and Eric Gregg.
Tommy Helms just tackled Eric Davis to keep him from re-entering. There's Tommy Helms, the third base coach. This is a very serious brouhaha.
And they're still waiting.
I would imagine, the fight surprised me, and I'm sure it surprised everybody. I don't know whether Eric Davis, in sliding hard, came up with an elbow. And here it is. We'll see. Tremendous speed. His 47th stolen base, but let's see what happens. And now the elbow right there. Knight is saying that he had him. Now the elbow. Now, boom. And that landed solidly. Ray Knight can fight, and Eric Davis can too. Now here we go. Orozco.
There's Carter taking Davis down. And now they're jumping all over Carter.
Tuffle and Venable. Davy Johnson in there, and with that back problem of his, he doesn't need to be there, but out to protect his players. Ed Hearn.
With the glasses on.
Yep. Here it is one more time. No action there. Now Knight wants to call. Now Davis had just elbowed him, and now he appears. Now boom, that was flush right there. It appeared that Knight wanted the call, and when he looked back to Eric Davis, it appeared that that's when the elbow to Eric Gregg, it appeared that that's when the elbow was thrown.
Sid Fernandez and also Keith Hernandez right there.
Mel Stottlemyre.
What I thought I saw there was that Davison coming in the bag came off the bag, and Knight was trying to tag him off the bag, and then the shoving started, and then the right cross.
Yeah, when he looked back at Eric Gregg, that's when it appeared he wanted the call, and that's when Eric Davis, intentionally or unintentionally, gave him the elbow. Now the interesting thing, neither appears to be kicked out of the game, and Knight's at third, and so is Davis. So this thing might not be over.
Yeah, they're right there together, and they could start up again. The umpires are talking it over. Davis is the runner third, but remember, on the play, Eddie Milner struck out. So the fact he's on third with 2 men out doesn't make that play that big a play.
That's a good point. Had the pitch been a ball, then it's a 3-2 count on Milner, and it's only 1 out, which could lead one to believe that anything's possible. A squeeze, infield hit, wild pitch, pass ball, error. They're discussing on who to kick out, if anybody.
None of this would have happened if Parker had caught the ball in right field that allowed the Mets to score 2 runs to tie it.
You know, which might lead the point, and I'm just trying to be as objective as I can. Parker was a wild man in that fracas, and the frustration of his dropping the ball might have lent his being extra mad in a fight like that. And I'll guarantee you one thing, I do not want Dave Parker being extra mad. Just being mad's bad enough.
Even if he's in a good humor is bad enough.
You know, he's as big as the Verrazano Bridge.
Easily. Well, we're going to have a conference now as Rose, the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and Johnson, the manager of the Mets, are being called out by the umpires. And we'll see how this is going to be handled.
Usually, when a fight like that breaks out, the next day is when you feel something happen. Your heart's racing so fast now that nobody feels like they're injured. But the next day, boy, you wake up and your body feels like it was put together by a construction company.
As fights go, this was a good one. Of course, you remember back in 1973 when Pete Rose and Bud Harrelson got in the fight at second base. That was in the playoffs of 1973, won by the Mets 3-2.
Jesse Orozco has thrown his glove down. Howard Johnson. It looked like a used car infield with all the gloves and hats strewn around the infield. And now Davy Johnson is contending. I think Ray Knight's been ejected from the game and not Davis. And if that's the case, that's what Johnson is arguing.
Well, the second big argument in this ball game. The earlier one was on Howard Johnson.
Here's Parker. This is what we're talking about. Look at this. I told you he's big as a bridge. Look at that. That's 1-2. He's trying to peel off Ron Darling. Now Mookie Wilson in there. Mookie and Parker's a mismatch. Mookie goes down. Parker on top of him.
Bill Robinson had a hold of Parker.
Yeah, if you want to call it that.
Well, in case you just tuned in, or in case you want to look at it again, this is how it started. Davis, the runner at second base, stealing third as Eddie Milner strikes out on the play.
There's Eric Davis right there, arguing his case with Eric Gregg. Now Pete Rose joining Davis. Davis has been ejected also. Boy, he is hot, man. Well, these are professional competitors you are watching. Now Knight turns to look at Gregg. Now there's the elbow, and now Knight obviously resents that. Gregg tries to take them apart, and that one landed flush, and this is what emptied the benches. I think Ray Knight hit Roger McDowell. Carter taking Davis down. There's Max Venable and Roger McDowell again. Davy Johnson in there. Pete trying to pull Howard Johnson off. But usually most of the guys are trying to break the fight up. But when somebody's behind you, you don't know that. You don't know whether he's trying to nail you or trying to pull you away.
So Davis is ejected from the ball game, as well as Ray Knight. Earlier in the game, Darryl Strawberry was ejected from the game for arguing a strike call. The Mets are losing by the numbers. There's Mart Schott, the principal owner of the Cincinnati Reds.
Ed Hearn is going to be the catcher. Now, does that mean that Gary Carter was ejected also, or was he hurt?
He could have been hurt. Carter was the one who came in and grabbed Davis and wrestled him down to the ground.
But certainly they couldn't kick him out for that.
Mets might be looking forward to the next inning if they can get there. And Carter will play in the infield. Mets are running out of ball players. There's Carter.
Yeah, that's right. Carter's going to play third base. That's right. Tom Browning, meanwhile, has been used as a pinch runner for Eric Gregg. There's Doug Harvey. He is on the phone, I guess, to announce what has happened. Man, that was a nasty one, Ralph.
Browning was in that fight pretty well himself, and he's the pitcher for tomorrow. Announcement that Eric Davis is out of the ball game, and of course the hometown fans going that decision by the umpires.
Looks like Roger McDowell's going to play right field. I've seen everything now. Roger McDowell going out to right field.
Does that mean that
Kevin Mitchell might have been thrown out of the ball game.
I was going to say that he got thrown out too.
Maybe for persisting in the fight. So that means that Knight and Mitchell and Davis that we know of.
Keith Hernandez in the ball game at first base. Tough old Howard Johnson coming off the field right now to talk to Davy Johnson. Carter will be at third base. He's taking some warm-up throws at third. Mookie is in left field. Dykstra in center field, and in right field, Roger McDowell.
I mean, you know, if there were one out in the plate of the plate, Roger might throw a 60-foot 6-inch sinker to home. Ed Hearn is behind the plate. Roger McDowell, obviously his first appearance in anywhere in professional ball. Here it is one more time. Now Knight wants the call. And now Davis had elbowed him, and now there's the, and that breaks both benches.
Milner charging in right away. He takes on a Roscoe.
And there is Davis being taken down by Carter. There's Oster, and here comes Parker. Jim Lett, the first base coach. Joe Price, who's on the DL. There's Davis back out again.
Doug Harvey has a hold of him, and he can't hold him. He's a bulldog.
Now, where did Mitchell become involved? Kevin, we think there he is.
Comes in and starts a second fight.
Yep. And that is Hernandez on top. And there's Browning. There's Tom Browning and John Denny.
Look at Denny. He's in there. In that 1973 fight between Pete Rose and Bud Harrelson, Pedro Bourbon started the second fight with Cleon Jones blindsiding Jones. And when Bourbon finally was subsided, he picked up a cap and took a bite out of it. And it was his cap.
Better that no one was in it.
So evidently Kevin Mitchell thrown out of the ball game for the second fight that got started.
Mario Soto also out of there, and I'll tell you, I missed him somewhere in the shuffle. Very difficult to tell. They really ought to, you know, make guys take their jackets off in fights like that so we can identify them. We're not by any means making light of this thing. Now look what's happened. Orozco moves to right field, and McDowell is the pitcher.
Okay, they have a right-handed batter coming up in Wade Rowden. So evidently they're going to get McDowell in to pitch to Rowden. And then after Rowden, you have Perez.
Pete Rose, in the meantime, came out to question Doug Harvey, saying that McDowell was announced as the right fielder. But you can flip-flop during the inning. That's what Pete goes back to the dugout. Harvey trying to calm everybody down. Brother.
Roscoe will be in right field. There are two right-handed batters coming up. Both could be walked. And then Ron Oster, a switch hitter. So the winning runs at third base, 2 men out, bottom of the 10th inning. And we're going to experience another experience. How are they going to play it?
Well, of course, you do have 2 out. Orozco struck out 2 and obviously is rooting for Roger McDowell. With 2 pitchers in the ball game, the Mets could left and right the Reds to death. Right?
Right.
I mean, any left-hander just bring in Orozco. Any right-hander just bring in McDowell. This might be the innovation of something new.
That's been done many times before, with a pitcher going to another position then coming back in to face the next batter. But the Mets are running out of ball players. Maybe you could say the same about the Cincinnati Reds.
Wasn't that chronicled in The Kid from Left Field?
I believe it was.
I think so. Where the Kid manager came up and made that move for the first time. Man, this is something.
So the batter, Wade Rowden, and we'll see whether or not they're going to pitch to him. It appears that they are. Ed Hearn, the catcher, Browning, the runner, in place of Davis at third, who was a pinch runner for Rose. So we have a pinch runner for a pinch runner. Winning run at third base, 2 men out, and the fastball low for ball 1. Roger with a record of 7-4. He has 8 saves. Earned run average of 2.37. And the fastball a called strike. Roger in his 43rd game. He has worked 76 innings, giving up 60 hits, walking 28, striking out 48, and he has given up 1 home run, and that cost him a ball game. Craig Reynolds of Houston hit that, and there's a pitch for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike.
My scorecard looks like a NASA printout.
Looks like the fight in the field. Scratches all over it.
Leroy Neiman would be proud of this, I'll tell you.
2-1 the count. And it's chopped foul. The ball hitting the batter, so it's an automatic foul ball. Hit him in the batter's box. So Rowden now with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rowden in this game 1 for 4. McDowell working from the windup, and one of the few relief pitchers to work from a windup in a situation like this. Most relief pitchers work from the stretch. Two men away, bottom of the 10th inning, 3-3 ball game. And there's a Roscoe in right field. And it's chopped out to the second base side. Tuffle charging. He has a play at first, and he makes it. So we go to the 11th inning. No runs, 1 hit. Should say numerous hits. More hits than you could count. And 1 man left at third. And the score at the end of 10. It's the Mets 3 and the Reds 3. Now here's a word from Manufacturers Hanover.
Getting where you want to go takes more than hard work. It takes intelligent planning. At Manufacturers Hanover Trust, we show you how to save even when you borrow. How to use credit that costs less without settling for less. How to use not just your money, but our money as well to build yourself a more rewarding future. Manufacturers Hanover. We realize your potential.
If you're shopping for a new car, you could race around town looking for a low finance rate or run yourself ragged trying to find a cash back offer. So don't shop till you drop. Your Lincoln Mercury Mercure dealer has it all, like 6.9 annual percentage rate financing, or from $300 to $600 cash back on select Mercury models, or special low lease terms on Lincolns and Mercure XR4 Ti. So why shop till you drop? See your Lincoln Mercury Mercure dealer instead.
Get street smart. Use the public phones of New York Telephone. Get ahead of the crowd. Get street smart.
The last 2 seats in the orchestra? Hey, we'll take them. Oh, get back online.
Excuse me.
Use the 115,000 public phones in the metro area to get there first. Get street smart.
We called ahead.
I should have called.
Get street smart. Use the reliable public phones of New York Telephone.
Well, the defense for the Cincinnati Reds, it is Tony Perez at first base. He was in the ball game. Ron Oster still in the ball game at second as we count the numbers here. Shortstop is Wade Rowden. He started the ball game, and Buddy Bell still in the ball game at third. So none of those players ejected. Out in left field is Max Venable. He started the ball game. He was not ejected. Eddie Milner started the ball game. He was really in that fight. And he's still in the ball game, and Dave Parker's still in the ball game. So none of the starters for the Cincinnati Reds out of the ball game, including the catcher in the game, Sal Butera. And we have a new pitcher coming in the ball game, Carl Willis.
Willis 1-0 on the year, a 2.45 ERA. His 11th appearance. He was in last night's ball game. Mets scored a run against him. Tim Tuffle will lead it off here in the top of the 11th inning. Fly ball left center field, and Eddie Milner romps over and makes the catch. 1 away.
Well, we were wondering about Mario Soto, and there he is with Kevin Mitchell. So it's Soto and Mitchell going at it. Soto's got a hold of Mitchell's shirt there, and now Browning gets into it from the outside. And then Denny chopping in there. Denny going on top of Mitchell. So Denny taking some whacks on Mitchell as he's being held by Browning.
Well, Keith Hernandez will be taking some hacks at Carl Willis. On the evening, Hernandez is 2 for 4. But one of those at-bats responsible for 2-run scoring by the Mets. With 2 out in the top of the 9th inning, runners at second and third as you look at John Denny. And we've had that camera position on him before.
Yeah, he threw a bat at the camera before.
When the Mets were in the last time.
Next day, the cameraman came out with a hard hat on.
Fastball is inside. 2-0 to Keith Hernandez. Anyway, with runners at second and third, Hernandez hit a 2-1 pitch to Parker over the head of Parker in right field. He appeared to have problems with it. Then he camped under it, and the ball hit the tip of his glove and rolled off for a 2-run, 2-base error. Strike 1, 2-1. That tied it at 3, and that's where we are.
If he had caught that ball, everybody would be in bed by now.
Yep, and feeling a lot better. Ground ball, base hit, right field. It's by Parker. Parker makes the catch. It's by Perez, and that is the point on the guarding the line, Ralph. Perez on the line, and this ball hit into the position, and it's still a double. And if that doesn't illustrate it, I don't know what does.
And right there you see Perez starting from the line, and the ball really a routine ground ball if he'd been in his normal position. And it goes on by, and then Parker has to go in the corner, moving away from the play. He's unable to throw Keith Hernandez out at second, and Parker can really throw.
Well, I'll tell you, we see it every single day, and I've seen it for the last 25 years. I've questioned it for 25 years. I still don't understand it. Guarding the line in the late innings, and I've seen more ball games lost as a result than anywhere near won. Carter's going to be walked intentionally.
And, of course, the normal batter would have been, the regular batter would have been Kevin Mitchell, but Mitchell's out of the ball game.
So Ed Hearn, who entered the game when Carter moved to third, Hearn moved behind the plate, and he'll be the hitter.
Hearn, a pinch hitter in the Houston series, singled up the middle to tie up a ball game for the Mets.
This isn't a game, it's a crisis. Runners at first and second, 1 out. The Mets with 9 hits, 11 for the Reds, and here's Ed Hearn, his first at bat of the night. Ball hit sharply. Rowden over to, and Gary Carter upending Wade Rowden, and the double play completed. Rowden going head over tea kettle and still completes a double play.
Well, Hearn 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter, and a good play by Rowden to make the grab on the ball, and now he throws after stepping on the bag to first. Carter hits him. He goes on a tumble over the top of Carter, but completes the play. So right here we'll look at it from this camera angle, and the double play ends the inning.
Stay tuned. These guys are serious. Bottom of the 11th, the score tied 3-3, and we'll be back after this word from your Dodge dealer.
Hey, Taurus. Hey, Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Thunderbird, right?
Yeah, car of the ages. Hey, where you from?
Fairfield County. We love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
tough. Are you getting your chrome polish?
A 7,500-mile checkup. Life's tough in Connecticut.
Sure it is.
Come see the front-wheel drive Taurus, and don't pass up the Thunderbird. New low 6.9 financing or up to $600 in cash back. It's worth the trip wherever you're from.
You ever been to Brooklyn, Taurus?
Yes, once.
I never realized the world was so full of hazards. That's why there's a company like MetLife. Because sometimes things do get out of control. Hey! That's why over 43 million people look to Met to be there when things go wrong. That's why you should get Met. It pays.
When you come to Meineke Discount Mufflers, relax.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot for your muffler.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
Meineke's the nation's discount muffler leader. We'll fix your car the right way at the right price from $18.93 to $26.95 installed.
Oh, I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot at Meineke.
Well, we're back here, bottom of the 11th inning. And every extra man has been used on both sides. The Mets have used 5 pitchers. However, they have 2 in the game right now. That's right. Jesse Orozco is in right field. Roger McDowell is the pitcher. Tony Perez the batter. It's a 3-3 ball game. Lines a base hit up the middle. Perez now 2 for 4 on the evening. And his second straight hit against Roger McDowell. If you remember, he beat McDowell with a game-winning single up the middle when the Reds beat the Mets at Shea 3 in a row. Here's Oster. Ray Knight, Darryl Strawberry, Kevin Mitchell ejected Strawberry because of a called strike, and Knight and Mitchell in the fight. Eric Davis and Mario Soto out for the Reds. And the bunt, and it's a good one. Carter will go to first base. So Gary Carter, with his first chance, made a good play, because had he let that ball roll, I don't think it would have gone foul.
Oh, well, look at it again. It looks like it's going to stay in fair territory. Carter believed it. It's amazing how he can change positions, threw the ball accurately, picks up the out at first, and the winning run moves on down to second on the sacrifice. That'll bring up the catcher, Sal Butera, with Perez on at second, and we'll see how the Mets handle it.
So they'll pitch to Butera with Venable on deck. Remember, Orozco is in right field. Grounds it foul, 0-1.
Well, we got a second here. The Garcia Vega Grand Slam winner tonight is Patricia A. Lazarczyk from 4 Joffer Avenue, Milltown, New Jersey, 08850. She will receive a box of Garcia Vega cigars, autographed baseball by a member of the Mets team, a New York Mets Garcia Vega lighter, and 2 tickets to a Mets home game.
All right, Patricia.
Good luck.
Give it to her dad for Father's Day next year. This one grounded foul, 0-2 to Butera. Unless you like cigars. Whatever floats your boat. 1 out, Perez the winning run at second base. 3-3, bottom of the 11th inning. A bizarre contest. You're wondering about the Expos. Montreal at Houston. No score, top of the 10th. Hanging slider grounded foul.
Houston with another winner in the 9th inning in last night's ball game.
Scoring 2 runs against Jeff Reardon, the ace and terminator of the Expo staff.
Won 3 games in a row from the Mets in their last at bat.
Yeah. Ground ball to third. Carter with another chance. Throws out Butera after looking Perez back to second base. This is not, by the way, the first time that Carter has played third.
Right here, the ground ball down to Carter. Makes a good move as he looks the runner back and then guns it over to first base for the out. Now Davey Johnson out to the mound. He's going to make a pitching change. McDowell going toward the bench. Is he going to, if he leaves the ball game, who's going to play right field? Orozco being brought in from right field. He's going to get a glove, maybe.
He's going to get a new glove. Yeah. So as we said in the 10th inning, they can do this all night. This might be innovative baseball.
Orozco was in the ball game and left it.
What is that? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Orozco pitched to 3 batters, struck out 2, gave up a base hit. That was to Pete Rose. Rose was taken out of the ball game, took himself out of the ball game. Davis put in the run for him. Davis stole second and third, and when he stole third, that's when the fight broke out. When they started up again, as you look at Pete Rose, McDowell was brought in to pitch to a right-hand batter, Wade Rowden. McDowell got him out, and now...
You know what they're saying? They are saying that McDowell left the field. You might have a protest on your hands there.
Yeah, but he went to get a glove.
But they didn't say that. If a pitcher leaves the field, Pete's contention is that he can't come back on the field. George Scherger, Pete's lieutenant, is saying the same thing. And if I'm Rose, I protest that. Doesn't matter why you leave, it's if you leave. What do you think?
Well,
I was trying to argue from Pete's standpoint. I mean, it's an interesting situation, isn't it?
It is that, but I think the umpires have to use common sense in this place, and they do that. They can do that. They can overrule the rule book when they take the common sense of he didn't leave the field because of leaving the ball game, but to get another glove. Common sense would say to, I would think would say or indicate that, okay, that's all right. Common sense is supposed to be the ruling factor.
You mentioned common sense, and I can't help but think of Dick Young's story that he told us in the press box about Bill Clem, the great umpire of the 30s and 40s. Dick said that Bill Clem said, if a guy hits a home run and misses first base, I didn't see it. If he hits a home run, he deserves it, whether he misses first base or not. And that's the common sense you're talking about.
And Bill Clem's also the great umpire in the Hall of Fame that said it ain't nothing till I calls it.
Well, I'd like to see him calls this game. Man. What a ball game. Or, what? A ball game? All right, here's Venable. Perez still at second. Obviously with no speed. McDowell back in right field. I love it.
How do you keep score on this one?
You don't. Just wing it, baby.
7th pitcher technically used by the Mets. 1 pitcher twice.
Fastball a strike to Max Venable. Interesting thing, home plate umpire Jerry Davis counting Orozco's warm-up pitches. He was only allowed 8. This will make all sorts of highlight films, ESPN, everything. The whole schmear. Breaking ball is low, 1-1.
And remember, both benches have used all their players with the exception of the pitchers. And of course, the Mets using a pitcher in the outfield.
And not many pitchers left. 1-1 to Venable, 2 out. Ball 2, 2-1.
He's reading the rule book right there. That's beautiful.
Oh, that's wonderful. Pete with his nose in the rule book. Venable fouls it back, 2-2. Max on the long night is 1 for 3. He has sacrificed, walked, and singled. Bobby Ojeda started this game. A 2-run homer by Dave Parker. A solo shot by Buddy Bell, accounting for all 3 Reds runs. The Mets had taken the lead back in the 5th inning. RBI, I beg your pardon, it was 2-0, and Dykstra made it 2-1 with an RBI triple. And trailing 3-1, a 2-run error by Parker in the 9th made it 3-3. And it's 3-2 to Venable.
And we understand that both managers are playing this game under protest.
Man. So Pete can't protest again. You can't have a double protest. That's all we need. Say, erase the first one. I got a better case now, right?
Beautiful.
Swing and a miss, and we're going to 12. With all of the happenings of this game, you're kind of glad to see it extend. You don't know what's going to happen, but you got a feeling it's going to be great. 3-3 after 11. Now here's a word from your Dodge dealer.
Dodge Lancer. Lancer. Just looking's not enough. It's not the way to measure Lancer's spacious versatility. Lancer. It's not the way to appreciate Lancer's personal comfort and convenience. Lancer. And it's not the way to experience Lancer's front-wheel drive and available turbocharged power. Dodge Lancer. Just looking's not enough. Drive one at your Dodge dealer. Lancers now with 5-5 financing or up to $1,500 cash back. Lancer.
Some of you are being asked to choose a long-distance phone company. If you don't choose, someone's going to choose for you, and you know how that could make you feel. So if AT&T's clear long-distance connections and full services are important to you, send in your ballot. AT&T Long Distance, for over 100 years. When you reached out, we were there. And you can keep it that way by making the choice yourself.
Ever since things have been made out of metal, there's been rust. And the way to fight rust is with Rust-Oleum. Rust-Oleum renews. Rust-Oleum restores. Rust-Oleum makes things look good longer. No ordinary paint can match its durability, because no ordinary paint has Rust-Oleum's unique protective barrier. Nobody fights rust like Rust-Oleum.
Well, you're looking at the official Cincinnati Reds scorecard, or lineup card, actually.
That's official?
That's that's pretty. and the Reds still going through the rule book, trying to figure out what's up. George Sugar, the #1 man for Pete Rose. Nevertheless, they got it figured out that they're right. But nothing's happening.
Yeah, now you can't protest. It's too late. Anyway, they've already protested, so you can't have a double protest.
Well, they're still scanning that rule book as we take a look at Jesse Orozco, who will lead off for the Mets. Orozco was pitching, went to right field, and now back to pitching again. And Jesse hitting against Carl Willis, and the first pitch is out of the strike zone for ball 1.
Interesting thing about McDowell and Orozco, they are both superb athletes and good hitters.
Orozco has not had an official at bat this year, and he takes for a strike, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. And Orozco backed up by McDowell in the batting order.
1-2 punch.
Slider hit on the ground. Over there is Oster to field it. He has a play at first base and makes it.
I don't think I've ever seen 2 pitchers hitting back-to-back, ever. Think about it.
Certainly not in, say, later baseball. I would think it probably did happen in other days.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I've never seen it. I don't ever recall 2 pitchers hitting back-to-back. Do you?
I can't remember it, no.
Unbelievable.
But every time you think you've seen everything, you haven't.
That's right. So true.
Now it's Roger McDowell to bat. And he goes after a breaking ball at strike 1. McDowell has been up 11 times this year, and he's had 4 base hits. Carl Willis, the pitcher, and he comes back with a slider, misses high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the 12th inning. All game tied at 3. Reds have out hit the Mets 12-9 on the baseball field. I don't know about in the fight. And this ball fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mets on Sunday played 5 hours 29 minutes, the longest game of the season in the National League in time. Mets losing in the 15th inning.
This game presently 4 hours and 10 minutes old.
And the slider grounded foul. So the count stays at 1-2. Carl Willis with a record of 1-0 in his 11th game this year. Came in the game in the 11th inning, got out of a jam when Ed Hearn grounded into a double play with a go-ahead run at second. And a ground ball hit to deep shortstop, fielded there by Rowden to throw to first base for the out. So Rowden, who had the start of the double play in the 11th inning for Willis, comes up with a good play here for 2 men out. That'll bring up Howard Johnson.
Well, Jay Horowitz tells us, boy, has he had a nice week. Jay
Incarceration for Mets.
Yep. I mean, it has been a bizarre week since the All-Star game. George Sherger doing some studying of the rule book. And we'll tell you about the protest if we can.
And Johnson takes for ball 1.
The protest by Davy Johnson was lodged because 2 regulars were ejected, and that forced putting a pitcher into another situation. I don't know if you can do that or not. The Reds are protesting because Jesse Orozco was allowed warm-up pitches, and being a position player, you cannot be allowed warm-up pitches when you come into the game from a position. And I think that's right. So they both might be right. What if they're both right? What if both of them win the protest?
Don't ask me those kind of questions. Is that a trick question?
No, it's not loaded or anything. All these things are running through my head as you saw Steve Zabriskie down on the field.
He might put on a uniform and get in there himself.
He might be the only one left.
3-1 to count to Howard Johnson. And this ball hit out to left field. Venable, the left fielder, puts it away, and the Mets go in order. So we go to the bottom of the 12th inning with the ball game tied at 3. And right now, here's a word from Burger King.